Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now, today we have got the final 3 elite specializations. They've been revealed. It's for the Elementalist, which is my main. We have the Engineer and we have the Revenant. Now, guys, these 3 might be literally the most insane 3 specs that we've seen so far. In my opinion, they look like, to me, they're the best 3. So they literally saved the best till last. So yeah, before we get into that information, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new here, if you're interested in Guild Wars 2 or just MMORPGs as a whole, because that's what I cover over here. So yeah, let's jump into this information. So guys, we have, first of all, we have the Evoker, which is the elite specialization for the Elementalist. Now, I've been waiting for this one. I've been super hyped to see what this one was all about. And here we have it. So these are spiritual summoners. Having toppled the powerful Jotun civilization in the previous Dragon Rise, Jormag was poised to claim the Shiver Peaks and beyond when they awoke once again. However, as the dragon's influence crept south of the mountainous crown, displacing the various Codan sanctuaries, it collided with the stalwart and courageous resolve of the Norn and their ever-watching guides, the spirits of the wild. Now, this is huge, guys. It's so good. This is looking so cool. Despite their resistance, Jormag's campaign left lasting scars on many of the spirits, consuming or corrupting those that held the line. In the years since Jormag's defeat, the Norn have made strides to reconnect and commune with the spirits. Many now turn to old practices that hearken into a time when the first pacts that intertwined both groups in spiritual harmony were spoken, the centuries-old traditions of the Evoker. Drawing upon the forces of the natural world, these Norn elementalists call upon spiritual companions and empower them with elemental energies. At the spirit's behest, the Norn have been encouraged to share this practice beyond their own to help restore and heal Tyria's nature spirits. So we have here basically familiar friends. So every Evoker starts with a choice, guys. Which element do you want to specialize in? Selecting an elemental skill on the F slot will specialize in the element, granting a few bonuses. So firstly, the attunement skill for that element will have a significantly reduced recharge time. In addition, some of the Evoker's traits and utility skills will be affected by your chosen element. And most importantly, a familiar of that element will join you on your adventures. So if you want to be a fire specialist, you will be accompanied by the cunning fox. Water gets joined by the mischievous otter. Air gets joined by the agile hare, while earth gets the stalwart toad. The familiar has 2 different skills that is available in the slot. Once they are fully charged, a basic skill and an empowered skill is basically charged up, and then as the Evoker uses their own weapon skills, which requires a total of 6 to fully charge, the weapon skills that match the familiar's element will count for double, meaning that only 3 fire attunement skills would be required to fully charge the fox's skill. The familiar's empowered skill will then unlock after using its basic skill 3 times, and that is when the Evoker and the familiar unleashes their full potential. So the Evoker is a flexible specialization which is capable of filling a number of roles depending on which element you specialize in. So those of you that are leaning more towards fire may choose to focus more on condition damage, as the fox will complement those builds very, very well. So that is nice. So the basic skill for the fire fox is called Ignite. When it's activated, the fox will launch a fiery missile at your target, dealing some damage and inflicting burn. The enemies that are struck by this skill in quick succession will also receive additional stacks of burning. After you use Ignite 3 times and you hopefully inflict a good chunk of burning, Evokers will gain access to the fox's empowered skill, which is called Conflagration. Using this skill will summon the fox near your target, after which it will perform a leaping strike, which is going to inflict even more burning, and it also spreads any burning from that target to nearby enemies. There is a limit though. We thought that spreading 1,500 burning stacks might be a bit too powerful. No, guys, you should have. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Right, now we have the Amalgam. It's a weird word. I don't know I'm not sure how you say that. I think it's called Amalgam. The Amalgam. These Azuran scientists have studied, manipulated, and transformed and occasionally displaced oozes at every level of scientific research. Endlessly adaptable oozes can absorb the properties of substances and living creatures they come into contact with, and a recent breakthrough has allowed them to be used as a powerful tool for both defense and offense. Okay, so we have slime time. Bonded with their mercurial mold, amalgams and are basically engineers with unparalleled adaptive capabilities. By being able to freely customize which morph skills they select, you can arrive to any fight with the right tools to survive and dish out damage. You can temporarily meld with the slime, resulting in an altered or even mutated form. Okay, interesting. So what do we have here? So you can shapeshift into multiple forms, such as a shield. You can get defensive spikes or even a massive sword. Then we have your elite tool belt skill gets replaced by Evolve. Evolve briefly combines the engineer and mercurial mold into one being, granting a host of benefits. These benefits, however, are unique to each slime. As you select your morph skills, your mercurial mold's composition is altered to also change what happens when you evolve. So we have compositional shifts, which are called strains, and these can vary from granting super speed and quickness to either stunning nearby enemies when you evolve. Okay, and then the amalgam's utility skills are stances. The mercurial mold can assist you to shift your form, making you as dense as steel or as light as feather. With the skill liquid state, you can even melt down into a puddle, and that basically you can avoid damage. So that's cool. I like that. Looks really good as well. Then we have the Conduit. So this is channeling the past. So centuries ago, the hero who defeated the fallen god Abaddon met a strange entity imprisoned deep within the realm of torment. Raza, a being born of the mists, freed by Abaddon's death to seek their own purpose in life. Raza chose to accompany the hero across Tyria, and their boundless curiosity led them to study and master any number of martial and magical disciplines. But Raza's story seemed to have ended with their companions. No one has seen or heard from them since. They may have returned to the mist to wander, or fallen to the corruption they once feared. They might have learnt to mimic human behavior precisely enough to live 100 lives in obscurity. Or they could have been watching our world, still learning and waiting for someone like you. So we can see here, guys, you basically can harness the mist. So after the complexity of having two different legends in the form of Saint Victor and Archironius in Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons, we wanted to focus on a single legend that offered an equally unique experience. So we have Raza is the first living legend to assist the Revenant in their adventures. So with the Conduit, they wanted to portray the multifaceted nature of Raza's unique link to the mists. Thus, the elite spec was designed to have a malleability and flexibility that reflects Raza's ability to transform into any profession, guys. So this is going to amplify the Revenant's connection to the mists. The Conduit can tap into a deeper well of power through the legends that they chose to channel. Okay, so we're going to be able to be, as a Conduit, we're going to get the ability to use Cosmic Wisdom, which allows you to further channel the powers of your equipped legend, giving rise to different forms. So for example, using Cosmic Wisdom with Legendary Assassin stance will give us access to the form of the Assassin, which gives you bonus power and movement speed, as well as inflicting debilitating conditions on the foes that you strike. The Cosmic Wisdom only lasts for a limited amount of time though, but it can be extended through the use of Affinity. And then Affinity is a new resource that represents the strength of your connection to the legend. So the Affinity can be gained through using any legendary skills that cost energy. And in each point of that Affinity you gain increases the duration of the Cosmic Wisdom by a certain amount. However, you lose all of the Affinity though when you swap, basically. So the Conduit is going to gain access to the legendary entity stance, which brings with them various skills that harken back to when they wandered Tyria as a hero. Each skill in the legendary stance has an effect called Resonance, which is a bonus effect that comes into play. Okay, interesting. So for example, Beguiling Haze normally shadow steps you to your target whilst performing a quick attack on them. However, when you're using the legendary Assassin stance as your second legend, the skill becomes a AoE targeted skill, which allows the conduits to shadow step even without a target, and then it also strikes all of the enemies in the vicinity. So yeah guys, these three are, in my mind, in my personal opinion, these three are definitely the best of the elite specs that we've seen so far. I'm glad they saved these to the last. The Evoker for me, obviously, I'm an Elementalist main, so for me this is hype for me. I love the look of this one, but also guys, the Amalgam and the Conduit, also very good, very cool looking, and I like the vibe of that. So yeah, stay tuned to the channel guys. We're going to be able to beta test these in a couple weeks, so I'm going to have a look at those, and then yeah, I'll keep you guys and girls updated. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Take care. Peace.